The 19th century was a time of great change in India. The country was undergoing a transformation that would shape its future in profound ways. British rule had brought new ideas and challenges. The influence of Western education, legal systems, and industrial advancements began to permeate Indian society. Indian society was grappling with issues like caste discrimination and the lack of education for many people. The rigid caste system created deep social divides, and access to education was limited to the privileged few. In this era, a great social reformer emerged, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule. He was a visionary who saw the potential for a more equitable society. Phule was born into a society divided by caste. From a young age, he witnessed the harsh realities faced by those deemed lower in the social hierarchy. He saw the injustice faced by lower castes and dedicated his life to fighting for equality. Phule's efforts were not just about social reform, but also about empowering the marginalized through education and awareness. He believed that education was the key to social change. By educating the oppressed, Phule aimed to break the chains of ignorance and subjugation. His work and ideas continue to inspire people around the world. Phule's legacy lives on in the countless individuals and movements that strive for social justice and equality. Phule's life story is a testament to the power of one person to make a difference. His relentless pursuit of justice and equality serves as a beacon of hope and inspiration. He challenged the status quo and fought for a more just society. Phule's activism laid the groundwork for future generations to continue the struggle for a fair and inclusive world. His legacy is a reminder that we all have a role to play in creating a better world. The spirit of Mahatma Phule's work endures, urging us to stand up against injustice and to strive for a society where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. Jyotirao Phule was born on April 11, 1827, in Pune, Maharashtra. Pune, a city known for its rich cultural heritage, was a bustling hub of activity during the 19th century. He belonged to the Mali caste, which was considered a lower caste in the rigid social hierarchy of India at that time. The caste system dictated every aspect of life, from occupation to social interactions. His father was a vegetable vendor, a common occupation for the Mali caste. The family worked hard to make ends meet, often facing discrimination and social exclusion. Despite their low social standing, Phule's father understood the value of education. He believed that education was the key to breaking the cycle of poverty and social injustice. He sent Jyotirao to a local school, which was unusual for someone of their caste. This decision was met with resistance from the community, but Phule's father was determined.
My father always said, "Education is the path to a better life." He would often remind me that knowledge is the greatest wealth one can possess. I was so curious and eager to learn. Every book I read opened up a new world of possibilities and ideas.
This early education exposed young Jyotirao to new ideas and broadened his horizons. He began to question the social norms and injustices that he saw around him. At the age of 13, Jyotirao had to leave formal schooling to help his family. The responsibilities of supporting his family took precedence over his education. However, his thirst for knowledge didn't diminish. He continued to educate himself, reading whatever books he could find. He continued to learn by reading books from different religions and philosophies. This self-education was instrumental in shaping his views on social justice and equality. This instilled in him a strong sense of social justice and equality. He became determined to fight against the injustices faced by the lower castes and to work towards a more equitable society. In 1840, at the young age of 13, Jyotirao Phule was married to Savitribai. This union proved to be a turning point in his life and in the social reform movement of India. Savitribai shared Jyotirao's passion for education and equality.
Jyotirao taught me to read and write. It was rare for women to have this opportunity, but he believed in me.
Savitribai was a remarkable woman who broke many barriers. Together, they embarked on a mission to educate women and uplift the marginalized. The couple faced strong opposition from conservative elements of society. Yet their commitment to social change never wavered. They became symbols of courage, challenging traditional norms and advocating for a more just and equitable society. In 1848, Jyotirao and Savitribai Phule took a revolutionary step by starting the first school for girls in India. This was not just an educational initiative, but a bold social reform aimed at challenging the deeply entrenched patriarchal and caste-based norms of the time. The Phules were visionaries who understood that education was the key to empowerment and social change. This was a bold challenge to the prevailing social norms that restricted education for girls, especially those from lower castes. At a time when education was a privilege reserved for the upper castes and males, the Phules' initiative was nothing short of revolutionary. They faced immense opposition and social ostracism, but remained undeterred in their mission. The school, located in Pune, started with just a handful of students. Despite the initial challenges, the Phules' unwavering commitment to their cause began to bear fruit. The school gradually started attracting more students as the community began to see the value of educating their daughters. However, it soon gained popularity as people recognized the Phules' dedication and the importance of education for all. The school became a beacon of hope and a model for other educational institutions. The Phules' efforts were instrumental in breaking the barriers of caste and gender, paving the way for a more inclusive society.
I remember the first day at school. It was a momentous occasion, filled with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The idea of girls attending school was still new and met with skepticism by many. It was a new world for us. The classroom was a place where we could dream, learn, and grow. It opened up new horizons and possibilities that were previously unimaginable. We learned to read, write, and think for ourselves. The education we received was not just about academics. It was about building confidence and fostering a sense of self-worth.
They believed that education was the most powerful tool to combat social injustice. The Phules' vision extended beyond just educating girls. They aimed to create a society where everyone had the opportunity to learn and grow, regardless of their gender or caste. Jyotirao and Savitribai didn't stop at establishing schools for girls. They were relentless in their pursuit of social justice and continued to push the boundaries of what was possible. They went on to open schools for children from the lower castes, who were often denied education based on their birth. This was a radical move that challenged the very foundations of the caste system. Their efforts laid the foundation for a more inclusive education system in India. The legacy of Jyotirao and Savitribai Phule continues to inspire generations, reminding us of the transformative power of education and the importance of fighting for equality and justice. The power of words. Jyotirao Phule was not only an activist, but also a prolific writer. He used his writings to challenge the caste system and advocate for the rights of the oppressed. His words became a powerful tool for social reform. One of his most influential works was Gulamgiri, which translates to slavery. Published in 1873, the book critiqued the exploitative nature of the caste system and drew parallels between the plight of lower castes in India and the oppression of slaves in America. Phule also wrote extensively about the need for education and social justice. His writings inspired generations of reformers and activists to continue the fight for equality. He argued that true freedom could only be achieved through education and the dismantling of caste barriers. Jyotirao and Savitribai Phule's path was fraught with challenges. Their progressive ideas and actions were met with resistance from conservative sections of society. They faced social boycott, threats, and even physical harassment.
Despite the constant opposition, the Phules remained undeterred. Their courage and determination to fight for a just cause inspired many others to join their movement. They believed that social change was a long and arduous journey, and they were prepared to face any obstacle in their path.
Their sacrifices and unwavering spirit serve as an inspiration to this day. The Phule's story reminds us that challenging deeply ingrained social norms requires immense courage and resilience. Jyotirao Phule died on November 28, 1890, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire generations of reformers, activists, and educators. He is remembered as a champion of social justice, equality, and education for all. Phule's work had a profound impact on the social and political landscape of India. His ideas helped to shape the movement for the rights of Dalits and other marginalized communities. He is considered one of the pioneers of the Indian social reform movement. His emphasis on education as a tool for empowerment continues to be relevant today. Phule's legacy reminds us that education is not just about acquiring knowledge, but also about fostering critical thinking, challenging injustice, and working towards a more equitable society. Mahatma Jyotirao Phule's life and work offer valuable lessons for us today. His unwavering belief in equality and his tireless efforts to promote education for all serve as a beacon for building a more just and equitable world.
In a world still grappling with issues of discrimination and inequality, Phule's message resonates deeply. His story reminds us that every individual has the potential to bring about positive change, no matter their social standing or background. As we strive to create a more inclusive and just society, we must remember Phule's teachings. We must challenge discriminatory practices, promote equal opportunities for all, and ensure that education becomes a tool for empowerment rather than a privilege for a select few.
The fight for social justice and equality that Jyotirao Phule championed is far from over. However, his life and legacy provide a roadmap for continuing the journey towards a more just and equitable world. Each one of us has a role to play in this endeavor. We can honor Phule's memory by supporting organizations working to eradicate discrimination and promote education for all. We can educate ourselves and others about the injustices that persist in our societies and work to dismantle the systems that perpetuate them. Let us remember Phule's words: education is the only weapon to improve one's life. By empowering ourselves and future generations with knowledge and critical thinking, we can create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive and reach their full potential.